Hello, good morning, everyone. This is Professor Grenfell with Math 12. And today we're going to continue with Chapter 11, Section 1, and look at the chi-squared test for goodness of fit. And so we're going to move on to example 11-2. This is an example where we're trying to determine whether our observed frequency distribution fits the pattern of a known or one that they've already hypothesized the frequency distribution. Here's an example where we don't have, or we're not going to assume that all of the categories are all uniform in terms of their frequencies. So in 11-2, we're talking about education level of adults. And it says here, the Census Bureau of the US government found 13% of adults did not finish high school, 30% graduated from high school only, 29% had some college education, but did not obtain a bachelor's degree, and 28 were college graduates. To see if these proportions were consistent with those people who lived in Lincoln County, a local researcher selected a sample of 300 adults and found 43 did not finish high school, 76 were high school graduates only, 96 had some college education, and 85 were college graduates. At alpha equals 0.10, 0.10, test the claim that the proportions are the same for the adults in Lincoln County as those stated by the Census Bureau. So you can see here the distinct categories have different proportions or different expected frequencies. So in order to do this, let's close this window. I'm going to pull up a handy, it's not in the meeting. I'm going to pull up a handy spreadsheet, and we're going to go ahead and use it to aid our computations. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a category for this, or a category for each of the four designations. And so here I'll say some high school, and I'll go ahead and put the percentage so we can look at that in just a second. Let's say high school diploma. Hopefully I spelled that right. I don't know if this has spell check. And what was that percentage? They said 30%, okay. 30%. And then some college. And if memory serves me correctly, I believe that was 29%. Go and peek at it in 1 second. And then college degree. Don't have to mess around with spelling diploma. It's too hard. Okay, so college degree, 28%, I think that one was. All right, let's just take a peek and verify 29% had some college, 28% were college graduates. All right, and then the next thing that we're going to do is go ahead and record the observed frequencies. So there is our data. We surveyed 300 adults. That was our sample size. 43 did not finish high school, so some high school we had 43. The next one was 76 were high school graduates. Okay. Then how many had some college? 96 had some college education. And then lastly, 85 had a college degree. All right, now let's go ahead and calculate the expected frequencies. So for each one of these, we're going to simply multiply the sample size times that given proportion. So in this one, I'm going to write equals 300. So remember, you have to type an equal sign in this spreadsheet, or else it just writes the computation that you typed in verbatim. And 13% is 0.13. So that's going to be 39 is the expected value for some high school. And you can see it's slightly different than the observed value, but we're going to determine whether that's in the acceptable range in terms of the difference and see if it's a good fit. All right, so the next one was, sorry, I shouldn't click away from it. It's just going to be 300, equals 300. and times, and here I should be looking right at that percentage, 0.30. Okay, next one is going to be equals 300 again, times 0.29. And then last we have equals 300, that's our sample size, times the expected frequency. So that is 0.28, the expected relative frequency, I should say. All right, and now what we're going to do is, I'll just do this shorthand. We're going to do the computation, we're going to do the expected value, or sorry, the observed value minus the expected value. And then after we do that, yeah, let's maybe just do a different line. We'll do the observed value minus the expected value. Oh, just repeated it for me, squared. So I'll raise it to the second power. And I'm just breaking it down into a series of steps because, let's see. Well, because if you were to do this computation by hand, you would have to do it in this step-by-step manner. So I'll do O minus E, whole thing squared, oops. And then this notation is going to be sloppy, but we'll divide that by E, okay? Well, actually, that's fair. That will satisfy the order of operations. All right, so for this line, we're going to do the observed value minus the expected value. So that's kind of nice. You can just type in the cells and let that do it for us. No, I don't want to use that suggested autocomplete, but I will go ahead and copy and paste this all the way across. So it's just going to do the observed row minus the expected row when I paste those in. Okay, and you can see all of those subtractions are written in for us. All right, now let's just go ahead and say equals, and we'll click on that cell and then shift 6, that makes it do the exponent, and 2, okay? And then the nice thing we can do is Command C, I'll copy and then paste right across there. All right, and then finally this one, well, we gotta watch it a little bit. I'll just go ahead and click on the previous line and then divide it by, remember here we have to divide by the expected frequencies. Okay, so that is that horrible decimal, okay? Oh, and I should say, oh, what happened here? Uh-oh, I went all the way to Z. I should say that I'm going a little bit out of order. I should be probably slightly a little bit more careful with this. But here we're doing step 3 before we do step 1 and step 2, just because that's what's easier to do with the spreadsheet. Okay, and then to calculate the test statistic, the chi-squared value is going to be just the sum of all of these. So I'll just say sum, should say equals the sum. And then I think if we highlight all of those, no, that's not going to work. Okay, well, let's see, that's B7, C7 plus D7 plus E7. Okay, so we can sum that from B7 colon E7. There we go, close that off. Okay, so that is our test statistic. And now what I should have said, well, let's stop this share, pause for a little bit.